Who will be the next NHL team to win their first Stanley Cup? There's 11 teams in the NHL that have not won a Stanley Cup. I will be telling you the next one to win their first Stanley Cup. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, guys. It helps out a lot. Like 99% of you guys are not. That's crazy. But hey, baby, we'll get there at some point. Let's get straight into this video. All right, guys, the 9 teams that have never won the Stanley Cup is the Arizona Coyotes, Buffalo Sabres, Columbus Blue Jackets, Florida Panthers, Minnesota Wild, Nashville Predators, Ottawa Senators, Sharks, Seattle Kraken, Vancouver Canucks, and the Winnipeg Jets. Obviously, we all know the Panthers got the closest with the Knights. Obviously, the Knights did win their first ever Stanley Cup, and the Panthers were that close to winning their first, but no good for them. So obviously, let's get the bad teams out of the way here. But I want to see you comment down below which team you think will win the Stanley Cup next out of these 11. Who will win their first Stanley Cup next? Drop your comment right now before we start the video. Okay, let's take out the easy ones here. Obviously, we know who aren't going to get it next. It's obviously Arizona Coyotes are not going to be getting it next. Same here with the San Jose Sharks. I feel like they're in a complete rebuild mode. Arizona, they don't know what state they're going to be playing in. They don't even know what state they're going to be playing in. Sharks, one of the worst hockey teams I've ever seen. so bad. But those two are 100% not going to happen anytime soon. At least in the next decade. At least in the next decade. Probably even 17 decades. Like, sorry. But after those two teams are gone, there's a couple teams that I think are still a little bad. Ottawa Senators, they're hit or miss for me, man. They hit or miss for me. They signed DeBrincat. They had a lot of hype going into their last season, and it did not go well for them. And now DeBrincat's on the trade block already. That is crazy. You don't have a goalie. You do have a young, good core, so that's why I really don't want to take you out just yet. Same thing with the Buffalo Sabres. You guys are looking good. Bright future. Columbus, I'm going to take you out. You didn't get lucky with Bedard. Bedard could have changed this 100%, but the team's just not good, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Your team is just not good. I know you have a lot of young guys, but it's just not looking good. The East is too strong. I would give it at least 2 decades. At least 2 decades for Columbus, man. I don't think you're making playoffs in the next 5 years, let alone winning the Stanley Cup. So I think you are out of there. So that means Arizona, Columbus, Sharks are out of there. And honestly, I'm going to have to put Nashville in there too. I think they're on the decline pretty heavily. They do got some good players. I get it. They're better than some of these teams on this board right here. But they're declining pretty heavily, man. Duchesne, he's getting up there in age. Yossi, he's still a really good player. Saros is a really good player as well. But besides all these players, Forsberg, yeah. Who else do they have, man? They traded at the trade deadline. They sold at the trade deadline. They know they're getting worse. And I don't like the roster in front of them, bro. I'm being honest. I know the Central Division might be kind of iffy sometimes, right? And they still could have made playoffs, man. But I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to take you guys out of here. I'll take your Central Division team right out with you, the Winnipeg Jets. Same thing as the Predators. I think they're in the big decline. Obviously, Hellebuck wants out. Scheifele wants out. Wheeler just got bought out, I think. Pierre-Luc Dubois wants out. Who do you just have? Kyle Connor? Like, what do you do? Obviously Josh Morrissey, but what is he gonna do? He's no Erik Karlsson. But you guys it's gonna have to be a rebuild, retool, whatever. But you guys are not winning it anytime soon. Same thing with the Predators, man. You guys are in a decline, and your players do not want to play there for some reason. So now that remains the Sabres, Florida Panthers, the Wild, Vancouver. Did I put Ottawa? I'll say Ottawa in that as well. Ottawa, I will take them out next. Good young team, yes. New ownership might be a little question mark for this team, but I'm going to take them out because they are in a very, very tough Eastern Conference, especially the Atlantic Division. Very, very tough. And they just don't have any. Yes, they got Brady Tkachuk, very good player. DeBrincat still they technically have, but he's on the chopping block. Shabbat is unreal, but you just don't have a goaltender, man. You really don't have a goaltender. But obviously, you could trade for Connor Hellebuck. This list could completely change if Hellebuck is traded to one of these teams or something like that. Superstar does get traded to one of these teams. But as of now, as we're recording this 22nd of June, I think Ottawa Senators are out. Won't win anytime soon. Now, I'm going to take out the Vancouver Canucks, man. Good young team, yes. On paper, very, very good team. But good thing we're not playing paper hockey, guys, because these guys are not going to be winning anytime soon. I feel like there's a chemistry issue, man. JT Miller, very, very good hockey player, but I just feel like he doesn't have the locker room. I don't know. He doesn't have the locker room. Demko, hopefully he has a better season. Obviously he did get hurt last year and that did shorten his season. Besser, hopefully he is all good to go as well. Obviously you have Quinn Hughes, unreal player. You have Pettersson, unreal player. Kuzmenko, you have some good players on this team. And a full year of Taka, and maybe he could get this team going because he's a very, very good coach. But at the same time, I don't see it happening. I don't think you make the playoffs the next 3-4 years probably, and I just don't see you win a Stanley Cup, man. I'm being honest with you. Give me at least 17 decades. Again, for the Vancouver Canucks, 3 teams remaining, and these are the 3 top teams on this list, and I feel like it's not that debatable. Panthers, they just made it there, man. They just made it there. Cinderella story, I get it, but they did just make it there. Minnesota Wild, ooh, I don't really like this team, man. I don't like the roster they have. I just don't think it is built correctly. They're just putting too much weight on Kaprizov, and it's just not working, man. He can't do it himself. Obviously, you have Matthew Boldy, very good player, but you're both goaltenders. Fleury didn't play good in the playoffs. Same with Gustafsson. Fleury is going to be retiring soon. He probably has 1 more year. Gustafsson, can he recreate what he did in the regular season last year? If so, Wild will be back in the playoffs, probably losing the first round again. But the depth scoring is a huge question mark for the Wild. I feel like this has been the last couple years, probably not the last like decade. Who is the depth scorer for the Minnesota Wild? They have a superstar in Kaprizov, yes. Matthew Boldy is an all-star, yes. Who else do you have? Eriksson Ek, cool. Who else do you have? You know what I'm saying? Dumba's gone. Jonas Brodin is a very good underrated defenseman, but still, you don't have enough scoring on this team. So that's why I'm going to take you out next on this list. I'm going to have 2 remaining. Minnesota Wild. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. The Buffalo Sabres, Florida Panthers. Who will win the Stanley Cup next between these 2 teams? Buffalo, young team, very good. Bright future in Buffalo. Or the team that just lost in the Stanley Cup Finals with a superstar, Kachuk, superstar goaltender, Bobrovsky. Very good depth on the team. Good defensive core. I'm going to take out the Florida Panthers. Call me crazy. I think, yes, Matthew Tkachuk is a very good player and he could lead a team to a Stanley Cup. Yes. I think this offseason they're going to change quite a lot. And obviously it was a Cinderella run. They shouldn't have gone out of the first round. Let's be real. Boston through, and Panthers shouldn't have been there. Panthers should never have been there. But they are a really good team on paper. I just don't think they'll get it done in the next 6 years. Then they're going to have to rebuild. Buffalo is the complete opposite. I don't think they'll make playoffs for the next 4 or 5 years. But then once they get there, all their players are hitting their stride. Dahlin, Owen Power, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, or Levi, or whatever they have. And all those young guys on their roster. Alex Tuch leading the way. I think that they're complete opposite teams, man. They really are complete opposite teams. Buffalo's up here. Florida's here, like coming down. You know what I mean? The next couple of years are going to be coming down. Buffalo's steadily up. So I think Panthers are out next. I think the Buffalo Sabres will win the Stanley Cup next. Out of these 11 teams, they'll be the next team who hasn't won a Stanley Cup to win Mr. Lord Stanley. Comment down below if you guys do agree with me. What team do you think will win their first Stanley Cup next? But thank you guys so much for being here. Much love. Comment down below more video ideas for me to do in the future. All that kind of stuff. Once again, guys, be great. And I'll see you guys later.